St. Augustine on the immortality, St. Augustine on the immortality of the soul. The first reason why the soul is immortal. It is the subject of science, which is eternal. If science exists anywhere, and cannot exist except in that which lives, and if it is eternal, and nothing in which an eternal thing exists can be non-eternal, then that in which science exists lives eternally. If we exist who reason, that is, if our mind does, then if our mind cannot reason rightly without science, and without science no mind can exist except as a mind without science, then science is the mind of man. Science, moreover, is somewhere, for it exists, and whatever exists cannot be nowhere. Further, science cannot exist except in that which lives, for nothing which is not alive learns anything, and science cannot be a thing which does not learn. Again, science is eternal, for what exists and is unchangeable must be eternal, but no one denies that science exists. And whoever admits that it is impossible that a line drawn through the midpoint of a circle is not greater than all lines which are not drawn through the midpoint, and admits that this is a part of science, does not deny that science is unchangeable. Further, nothing in which an eternal thing exists can be non-eternal, for nothing which is eternal ever allows to be taken from it that in which it exists eternally. Now, truly, when we reason, it is the mind which reasons, for only he who thinks reasons. Neither does the body think, nor does the mind receive the help of the body in thinking, since when the mind wishes to think, it turns away from the body. For what is thought is thus eternal, and nothing pertaining to the body is thus eternal. Therefore, the body cannot help the mind as it strives to understand, for it is sufficient if the body does not hamper the mind. Again, without science, nobody reasons rightly, for thought is right reasoning, moving from things certain to the investigation of things uncertain, and there is nothing certain in an ignorant mind. All that mind knows, moreover, is contains within itself, nor does knowledge consist of anything which does not pertain to some science, for science is the knowledge of any things whatsoever. Therefore, the human mind always lives. Another reason is the subject of reason, which is not changed. Surely, reason either is the mind or is in the mind. Our reason, moreover, is better than our body, and body is substance, and it is better to be substance than to be nothing. Than to be nothing. Therefore, reason is not nothing. Again, whatever the harmony of the body is, it must be in the body inseparably, as in a subject, and nothing be held to be in the harmony unless it is to be necessarily in that body inseparably, as in a subject. But the human body is mutable, and reason is immutable, for all which does not exist always in the same model. For all which does not exist always in the same mode is mutable. But that 2 and 2 are 4 exist always in the same mode, and also that 4 contains 2, and 2 exists always in the same mode, but 2 does not contain 4. Therefore, 2 is not 4. This sort of reasoning, then, is immutable. Therefore, reason is immutable. Moreover, if the subject is changed, there is no way in which that which is in the subject remains unchanged. Hence, it follows that the mind is not a harmony of the body, nor can death befall unchangeable things. Consequently, the mind always lives, and neither the mind is reason itself, or has reason in it inseparably. Mind is living substance and immutable, and if it is, in some mode, mutable, it does not, on that account, become mortal. Some power is constant, and all constancy is unchangeable, and all power can act, nor does it cease to be power when it acts. Further, all action is moved or moves, Therefore, not all which is moved, or surely not all which moves, is changeable, but all which is moved by another and does not move itself is a mortal thing, nor is anything immutable which is mortal. Hence, certainly, and without any disjunction, it is concluded that not all which moves is changed. There is, moreover, no motion without substance, and any substance either is alive or is not alive, and all which does not live is inanimate, but no action is inanimate. Therefore, that which moves, so as not to be changed, can be only living substance. Any action, moreover, moves the body through a number of steps. Therefore, not all which moves the body is changeable. The body, moreover, is not moved except in time, and to the body pertains being moved faster and slower. Therefore, there is shown to be a certain thing which moves in time and not changed. Moreover, every body which moves in time, although it tends towards one end, yet can neither accomplish simultaneously all the steps which lead to this end, nor can avoid the several steps. For by whatever impulse it is moved, a body cannot be perfectly one, because it can be divided into parts, and there is no body without parts, as there is no time without an interval of delay, even if it is expressed by a very short syllable, of which you hear neither the beginning nor the end. Further, what occurs thus needs expectation, that it may be accomplished, in memory, that it may be understood as much as possible. An expectation is of future things, while memory is of past things. But intention to act belongs to the present time, through which the future moves into the past, and without memory we cannot expect the end of the motion which has begun. For how can that be expected to cease which forgets either that it has begun or that it is in motion? Again, the intention of accomplishing which is present cannot be without expectation of the end which is future. Nor does anything exist which does not yet exist, or which has already ceased to exist. Therefore, there can be something in acting which pertains to those things which do not yet exist. There can be several things simultaneously in the agent, although these several acts, when executed, cannot exist simultaneously. Likewise, they can exist simultaneously in the mover, although they cannot in the thing moved. But whatever things cannot exist simultaneously in time, and yet are transmitted from future to past, must of necessity be mutable. 4. From the above, we have already gathered that there can be a certain thing which is not changed when it moves changeable things. For when the intention of the mover to bring the body which it moves to the end it desires is not changed, while the body which is acted upon is changed by this motion from moment to moment, and when that intention of accomplishment, which obviously remains unchanged, moves both the members of the artificer, and the wood or stone, which are subject to the artificer. Who may doubt that what we have said follows as logical consequence? Therefore, if any change in bodies be effected by the mind as a mover, however attent upon the change the mind may be, we should not think that the mind is changed necessarily by this, or that the mind dies. For along with this intention, it can have memory of past things, an expectation of future things, none of which can exist without life. And even if there be no destruction without change, and no change without motion, yet not all change is engaged in destruction, nor is all motion engaged in change. For we can say that this body of ours has been for the most part moved by an action, and that it has undoubtedly been changed, especially by age. Still, it has not yet perished. That is not without life. Therefore, from this, it follows immediately that the mind is not deprived of life, even though some change does perchance occur to it through motion.